finally, one of the most iconic weapons in the history of Destiny 2 is back with Into the Light, and so it's time to go through it, break it down, and tell you why you need the reprised, reissued, returning Brave Arsenal Blast Furnace. This kinetic aggressive frame pulse rifle from the Black Armory era of Destiny 2 was sunset with Beyond Light, and most veterans have been aching to get their sweaty little mitts back on it. Bungie have once again absolutely cooked with this version of it, and to be honest it has multiple god rolls worth chasing. But it has had a few adjustments from its original version, so let's find out why and if this long-time fan favourite can hold a candle to its former self. It'd be rude not to go over the original Blast Furnace first, and with the recent announcement that Bungie is unsunsetting weapons, if you do have the original version of the Blast Furnace in your vaults, then it may be worth dusting off, because one of the main differences between its original version and the new Brave Arsenal version is that the original one could roll with random scopes. Now these scopes don't have a massive impact in terms of its viability, but there was a few on there that could be used to just make this a little bit more effective at range. Now there's probably going to be a few arguments out there in terms of which one was the best. A lot of people like going for the Satu longer zoom scope, but personally I like the Myrin RDS, which was a short zoom scope, or even the RDL medium zoom scope. However, with this newer version of the Brave Arsenal Blast Furnace, then I believe it is only going to be dropping with the Rasmussen ISA Agile sight with the short zoom scope. Now this one isn't the worst one out there, to be honest, but I don't think it's as iconic as the other sets of scope. A few things that are also missing from the new Brave Arsenal version is just a few perk combos that I think if you do have these sitting in your vaults, and with the announcement of the recent unsunsetting or the sunrise as you were, and the suing of Datto for making you delete all your blast furnaces, if you did manage to keep them and not listen to Datto, then I think there's a few combos there which really do shine over what will be the new blast furnace with the Brave Arsenal. One of the main perks that was on the original one was Feeding Frenzy. Now this fit really nicely with kill clip in that final column, but one of the other main perks, which is totally deprecated at this point, is Drop Mag. Now I have this on my original Blast Furnace and it just massively increases the reload speed. On my favourite one, which I have with Feeding Frenzy and kill clip, once you get Feeding Frenzy going, maybe even a 2 or 3 time stack, the reload speed on this thing is absolutely phenomenal, and it's one of the things that I'm probably going to miss a little bit with the new Brave Arsenal Blast Furnace. However, there's tons going on with the new one, so it's time to break down that and just go through some of the god roll perk combos that are really going to hold you in good stead when using this pulse rifle for the end game. When the final shape drops, then all of the perks in the final 2 columns will be able to be enhanced, so you're going to be able to get some bonuses, whether that's to the uptime or added increase to your stats or whatnot. So there is absolutely a few god roll combos that you should be looking out for. For starters, the Curated Roll is going to be Perpetual Motion and Kill Clip, which isn't a bad shout, to be honest. Perpetual Motion I think is still relatively slept on, but it is a really good perk because all you have to do is literally be moving around for a handful of seconds and you're going to be getting a massive increase to that stability, to your handling and your reload speed, and they really do help with the feel of a ton of weapons, and with the general sluggish nature of these aggressive frame pulse rifles, then I think that is really going to hold you in good stead going forwards. And then obviously Kill Clip is still a really good perk as it is. You're going to get that 25% damage increase on reloading after any final blow, and obviously with the increased reload speed offered by Perpetual Motion, then you really can't go wrong with it. However, everyone is going to be wanting to farm their very own version of the Blast Furnace. It does have a few combos that we've seen going around on other weapons recently. We do have the Kinetic Tremors and Firefly combo, which with this being an aggressive frame pulse rifle, there's 4 bullets per burst, which means that you only need 2.5 bursts to get through and get on Kinetic Tremors rolling, because you only need 11 hits required with a pulse rifle to activate Kinetic Tremors. So realistically, this pulse rifle is probably going to be one of the better options to get Kinetic Tremors going. And for PvE, Kinetic Tremors is really a good perk, and it's in the 3rd column on the new Blast Furnace, so it really opens it up to either increasing the damage damage of it with some of the damage dealing perks in the final column, which I think is probably where you're going to want to go with Kinetic Tremors. Obviously we've got Kill Clip, which is going to give that 25% damage increase. We've also got One for All, which I think is going to be a really good combo with Kinetic Tremors, especially on this Blast Furnace, just because of the quicker activation time that you can get with Kinetic Tremors. You're going to be able to take out a group of adds potentially with one shot, activate One for All, and then go again with Kinetic Tremors, and I think that's really going to be an absolutely goated perk combo for PvE. You've also got Frenzy, which is that 15% damage boost and just give you really good, well-rounded stat boost for basically being in combat for 12 seconds. You're going to get maxed out handling, you're going to get maxed out reload speed, and once you get Frenzy rolling, it is a really good perk, and I think could work really nicely as well with Kinetic Tremors. You've also got Rampage, which is a free time stat, it's going to give you 33% damage boost. Again, that will increase the damage of Kinetic Tremors. And finally, Desperate Measures in that final column, which is also got that potential to get that 30% damage increase. I don't really know if Desperate Measures is the way to go with the Blast Furnace, unfortunately. It doesn't really have too many other perks going for it in terms of its build crafting viability. Obviously it does work well with the origin trait, the Indomitability, but to be honest, Desperate Measures probably one that I'm going to want to shy away from, even though I've been singing its praises on a number of other weapons. Now there's a few other combos. One of the main ones that's going to stand out in terms of its viability for PvE content is Shoot to Loot, and I think you want to pair that with Firefly. Obviously Shoot to Loot is going to allow you to collect ammo and orbs of power, and with Firefly and the explosive radius of that, then there's potential for you chaining multi-kills, and you're going to potentially be able to collect ammo or the orbs of power that you create from the multi-kills if you set up your mods correctly, and is probably just a really good little slept on perk combo that's just going to come in handy for every sort of day-to-day play. Now there's some rare standout picks though in terms of just massively boosting the handling and feel of this rather sluggish feeling aggressive frame pulse rifle. Zen Moment and Rapid Hit is one that really stands out to me, and this is just going to give you a laser feel to this Blast Furnace. However, the main role that I think that you probably want to chase here, and it may be a little bit overkill, is Keep Away in that third column. Now Keep Away is going to give you 10 range, 30 reload speed, and it's also going to decrease the accuracy cone growth by 5%, which is going to make your shots a little bit stickier and a little bit easier to get on target in terms of hitting them precision shots. Now obviously you need to have no enemies within 15 meters, and with this being an aggressive frame pulse rifle, that's generally the sort of area that you're going to want to be in combat with this weapon. You're not going to be wanting to use it close quarters, even though you do have that shorter zoom scope with it as standard on this Brave Arsenal version. The main column you want to pair with that in that final column is Frenzy. Now if you just look at the absolute mad stats that we've got going on this D2 Foundry version of the Brave Arsenal Blast Furnace, then we've got maxed out handling, maxed out reload speed, we've pretty much got maxed out range, and then if you look at adding some different barrel and magazine options, whether that is steady rounds or tactical mag or even accurized rounds, you're going to be looking at maxing out some of these stats. And then if you look at getting something like corkscrew rifling or maybe small bore in the barrel options, we've got just, like I say, maxed out stats. And then if you want to aim for a masterwork, either looking at that range or stability, you have got an absolutely insane PvE pulse rifle, and to be fair, even an insane PvP pulse rifle. This thing is just gonna be absolutely sticky, as it's gonna be an absolute laser beam. You're gonna be able to reload as fast as you want, and you're gonna get that boosted damage from Frenzy. I think this just is the absolute god roll on this weapon. In terms of if you're wanting to get a dual perk combo, then I think you want to maybe look at Kinetic Tremors and Firefly, and then like I say, Keep Away Frenzy is really the one that I'm going to be looking out for, and I think that version of the Blast Furnace just absolutely beats the original one hands down. This thing doesn't stand out as an absolutely insane weapon straight out of the box, and I think that may be one of the things that puts people off. But if you just look at these perks a little more deeper like we've gone through in this video, then I think there's going to be something for everybody with it. If you do use it the way that it's meant to be used at range, and you know, taking down them trash adds as quickly as possible, then I think the Blast Furnace is going to hold you in good stead for a lot of content, and potentially even the legendary content coming up in the final shape and beyond. So there we go, I hope you enjoyed this God roll breakdown of one of Destiny 2's most iconic weapons. As always, your ongoing support is greatly appreciated. The support on the channel recently has been absolutely amazing, and thank you very much for all the new subscribers. I do try and get to everybody in the comments and reply to everybody as much as I can, and I do love interacting with everybody on here. If you've been here before and you're not subscribed, then please consider doing so, or even joining our fellow members to get some bonus goodies to show off in the comments. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one, which you can click right here.